Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Zemo, the dad in DPS, and we are back with another episode of The Good, the Scrap, and the Script. A series of videos where I basically test out a weapon and see how well it does. Now, today's weapon has been kindly borrowed from Jocko Horror, somebody that you guys are definitely going to be familiar with if you've watched any of my live streams. He drops quite a lot of nukes for us, just like Tim. So big thanks to Jock for this. But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as we get on with this video. And don't forget, guys, to join my social media links that are all linked down below. The real question we all need to ask is why the hell anybody would invent this thing?
Why would they even make this?
So as I said, this gun has been kindly given to us by Jock temporarily, just to test out and to showcase for you guys. And it is a legacy of sorts, one that is very underrated. Now this is a Bloodied Explosive, damage resistance while aiming, radium rifle rather. Very interesting gun. Obviously you have the ballistic damage, you have the radiation damage, and you have the explosive on there. It's a very underrated weapon in general, so I'm very curious to see how well it does, especially against things like Jeff, because he is very resistant to radiation. So we'll get to see how quick it kills him, or doesn't kill him. We'll figure it out. Either way, let's get on with it. Now, radium rifles are one that I've been wanting to test out for a while. I just didn't expect that the one I'd be testing would be a legacy version. As you can see, that is a super mutant, probably the enemy of this weapon, and it's mincing them quite readily. No real downside to it. Now, a big factor in this is that this weapon is primarily ballistic, so in regards to being a legacy, it's less of a legacy than most of them are. It's more akin to being a decent rifle rather than a true kind of legacy. I don't know how the explosive damage on this thing works out. Obviously it's radiation explosive damage, so it's a very, very strange kind of thing where I'm not quite 100% certain how well it's resisted by most enemies. Against humans, it is definitely going to completely mince them, but as you can see, it's making quite short work of regular super mutants. So, if these guys aren't really doing much, there's not really anything that's gonna survive against this for the most part. Overall, very impressed with it. So as you can see, this is just my standard build that I use on my Bloodied Commando. This is a Bloodied weapon, it's using a Bloodied build. I know there's going to be someone commenting down below about Bloodied weapons and all that. Tough. Just tough. It's a Bloodied weapon. What do you expect? Nothing special here, nothing out of the real ordinary. A lot of perks that can be swapped out, like Serendipity and Ricochet for crit-related perks, just to increase that damage just that little bit more. But overall, just a standard commando build, nothing special. Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting 12-foot green giants. And this time I'm going to shoot them in the ankles, just because I know everybody will complain if I don't. So we'll see how quick he dies. Da 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 da. I don't know why it broke that, but okay. Yeah, has no problem killing Jeff as he floats his fat ass to the middle of the pond. Oh well. So the Queen's rather cranky today, and I'm not going to improve that mood. In fact, I'm going to make it worse. So let's just blow her legs off, as usual. As you can see, we are dealing quite a hefty sum of damage to her. And with crippling both her legs, she's freaking dead. Yeah, this gun definitely does the job. Now, one added thing I want to cover that most legacies won't do to you. If I shoot into this wall, you can see the damage isn't quite the same level of death it would be from a regular legacy. So you do have a better chance of surviving it than you do any other type of legacy. Don't get me wrong, you still take a crap load of damage. So I know what you're thinking, because pretty much I do it every video. What is it like in daily ops? Well, it's good. It is very good. The biggest problem is it's melee day. Melee day, and it's on murder you with one shot day. So, you know, it's gonna be fun. And I just sort of have to beat the living daylights out of stuff. You get a decent amount of ammo back. In some cases, you will definitely make your ammo back 100% of the time. Other times, not so much. It is one of those very, depending on what type of day it is, type shindigs. This weapon in general, it's not as crazy powerful as your regular legacies. If you're expecting to get a weapon that is going to melt the face off the sun, you're not going to get one. It is a very good rifle. It's on par with some of the decently powerful rifles in game. It's got good fire rate, good damage. Everything about it is just relatively good. The problem is that it's hampered by its own weakness of being not exactly the best gun to begin with. And that's where the real problem lies, is that the radium rifle in itself isn't the best gun, it's just a decent gun. So when you combine it with the legacy effects, it kinda comes out as just a decent gun. On top of that, most of its damage is actually ballistic, so the legacy effect of it is lessened. It's not quite the same amount of legacy as like a full energy weapon is, if that makes sense. It's a percentage weaker in a sense. So you just kind of have to take it with a pinch of salt. I think it's still very underrated and a very cool gun in general. And I definitely think that people have underestimated it. Because for what it is, it doesn't break quick. It does decent damage. I actually enjoy it. I think it's quite fun to use, and it's a little bit out of the usual zone of fixers and regular energy legacies. So yeah, definitely gets a thumbs up from me in that scope. And with that, we have today's video. Overall, I thought this weapon was pretty damn awesome. Anywho, time to thank our YouTube members, which are Twice Speaks Buds, Goldie, Wyatt Blackburn, Wallers, me, Mr. Red, Deofing Gaming, Fatheaded Druid, Colin G, Gary McKnight, Oface, Brian, RMC, Peggy McKnight, Metal Doom, Matazbo, Dragon God Slayer X, and Devilman Games. Big thank you to all of you. We can't do this without your support, and if you'd like to become a YouTube member, click the join link down below to become one, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. But with that, we'll catch you all next time in the Wasteland.